Ladies and gentlemen, you know, there's something fascinating about the word never. It's absolute, it's definitive, it's a line in the sand. And yet, most of us have been told that never is a dangerous word. Never say never, right? But here's the thing, some rules are worth keeping. Some rules are the foundation of great leadership, fulfillment, and a life of purpose. Smart women, leaders, trailblazers, change makers never break these 7 rules. And the reason is simple. These rules aren't about limitations, they're about liberation. They create the structure for success, the mindset for impact, and the discipline for lasting influence. Smart women understand that true confidence doesn't come from the outside, it's built from within. They don't need a pat on the back to know they're doing the right thing. They focus on their mission, their purpose, and their impact, because that's what lasts. Fear is one of the most powerful forces in human psychology. It has kept us alive for centuries, warning us of danger and helping us make decisions that ensure our survival. But when it comes to leadership, personal growth, and making an impact, fear often becomes more of a barrier than a benefit. Smart women understand this. They don't ignore fear, but they also don't let it control their decisions. The difference between those who lead and those who follow often comes down to a single factor: the ability to act despite fear. Fear will always be present. It shows up in different forms: fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of rejection, fear of the unknown. It's not about eliminating fear. That's impossible. Instead, it's about building a relationship with it where it no longer dictates your choices. Consider the most influential and successful women throughout history. Were they fearless? No. But they had the courage to push forward despite the doubts and anxieties that naturally arose. They understood that fear is often a sign that something truly matters. It's an indicator that you are stepping into uncharted territory, breaking barriers, and growing beyond your comfort zone. Fear-based decisions often lead to regret. Think about a time when you wanted to speak up but didn't because you were afraid of what others might think, or a time when you hesitated to take a risk only to realize later that the opportunity had passed. When fear leads, opportunities shrink. The smartest women recognize this and refuse to let fear be the deciding factor in their lives. Instead of saying, "What if I fail?" they ask, "What if I succeed?" Instead of saying, "What if they judge me?" they say, "What if my voice inspires someone?" They shift their focus from fear of the worst case scenario to the possibility of the best outcome. This shift in mindset changes everything. Smart women also understand that courage is like a muscle. It gets stronger the more you use it. The first time you challenge fear, it feels overwhelming. The second time, slightly less so. And with every step forward, you build resilience, proving to yourself that fear doesn't control you. This is how confidence is built, not through the absence of fear, but through the consistent act of moving forward despite it. They also surround themselves with the right people, mentors, supporters, and like-minded individuals who encourage them to take bold steps. Fear thrives in isolation, but courage grows in community. When you see others stepping into their power, it reminds you that you can do the same. In the end, fear is only as powerful as we allow it to be. Smart women acknowledge it, respect it, but never let it make their decisions for them, because the moment fear takes the wheel, we stop moving forward. And for those who want to lead, who want to create, who want to make an impact, that is simply not an option. Setting high standards is not about being demanding or difficult, it's about self-respect. Smart women understand that the standards they set for themselves dictate how others will treat them. They never lower their expectations just to fit in or make others feel comfortable. Instead, they hold themselves and those around them to a level of excellence that aligns with their values and vision. It's easy to feel pressure to lower your standards, especially in environments where mediocrity is the norm. Society often tells women to be more accommodating, less picky, or more realistic, but the smartest women refuse to buy into this mindset. They know that compromising on their values, goals, or expectations only leads to dissatisfaction in the long run. Whether it's in their careers, relationships, or personal growth, smart women know that their standards are a reflection of their self-worth. They don't accept half-hearted efforts, empty promises, or relationships, personal or professional, that don't respect their boundaries. They would rather wait for the right opportunity, the right partnership, or the right path than settle for something that doesn't align with their aspirations. Think about some of the most successful and inspiring women you know. They didn't reach their level of achievement by accepting mediocrity. They demanded excellence, not just from others, but from themselves. They understood that their time, energy, and talent were valuable, and that anything less than their best effort was a disservice to their potential. This doesn't mean they are inflexible or unwilling to adapt. It simply means they refuse to compromise on the things that truly matter. They understand the difference between being demanding and being discerning. Being discerning means knowing what you want, recognizing when something doesn't meet your standards, and having the confidence to walk away from anything that doesn't serve your growth. In relationships, smart women set boundaries and stick to them. They don't tolerate disrespect, dishonesty, or inconsistency. They know that the right people will respect their boundaries while the wrong ones will be pushed away by them. And they're okay with that. They understand that losing people who can't meet their standards is not a loss. It's a gain because it makes space for those who truly align with them. In their careers, they don't accept roles that undervalue their skills. They negotiate their worth. They seek out environments that challenge them, inspire them, and allow them to grow. They don't stay in places where their contributions are overlooked or their potential is stifled. Perhaps the most important thing is that they never apologize for these standards. They don't feel guilty for expecting respect, honesty, and effort from the people in their lives. They understand that their standards are not a burden, they are a guide. They lead them toward the life they deserve. At the end of the day, the standards you set for yourself determine the quality of your life. Smart women don't lower theirs. Instead, they rise to meet them and inspire others to do the same. Confidence is not built through external validation. It comes from within. Smart women understand this deeply. They never chase approval because they know that relying on others to validate their worth is a losing game. Instead, they focus on their purpose, their mission, and the impact they want to create. The problem with seeking validation is that it places control in the hands of others. When we rely on applause, compliments, or external recognition to feel good about ourselves, we become dependent on something we can't control. And that's dangerous because the moment that validation disappears or isn't given in the way we expect, we start questioning our worth. Smart women refuse to play that game. Instead of asking, do they like me? They ask, do I like me? Instead of worrying about how others perceive them, they focus on whether they are living in alignment with their values. They know that external validation is fleeting, but self-respect lasts a lifetime. This doesn't mean they don't appreciate encouragement or constructive feedback. They do, but they don't let it define them. If someone praises them, it's a bonus, not a necessity. If someone criticizes them unfairly, they don't crumble. They evaluate the feedback, take what's useful, and discard the rest. Their confidence isn't shaken by opinions because it's rooted in something deeper, their belief in themselves. One of the reasons smart women don't chase validation is that they understand that people's opinions are often more about the other person than about them. If someone disapproves of them, it could be due to jealousy, insecurity, or a difference in values. That's not their problem to fix. They recognize that they are not responsible for making everyone comfortable. Their job is to stay true to themselves, even if it means not being liked by everyone. Think about the most influential and successful women in history. They were not universally liked. In fact, many of them faced criticism, doubt, and even hostility. But they didn't let that stop them. They stayed focused on their work, their mission, and their impact. They understood that greatness comes with resistance. Another reason smart women don't chase validation is that they know it's exhausting. Constantly seeking approval means constantly adapting to other people's expectations. It means always worrying about what others think instead of focusing on what truly matters. That kind of life is draining and it's not sustainable. Instead, smart women build an unshakable inner confidence by showing up for themselves. They keep the promises they make to themselves. They set goals and follow through. They challenge themselves, grow, and learn. Every time they push past self-doubt, they reinforce their own belief in themselves. At the end of the day, the only validation that truly matters is the one they give themselves. Smart women don't wait for permission to be confident. They choose to believe in their own worth every single day. Silence is never neutral. It is a choice, a statement in itself. Smart women understand this, and they never stay silent in the face of injustice. They recognize that when something is wrong, ignoring it doesn't make it disappear. It only allows it to continue. Whether it's in the workplace, in relationships, or in society, they speak up because they know that change doesn't happen in silence. It takes courage to challenge the status quo. Speaking up often comes with risks, being judged, facing backlash, or even feeling isolated. But smart women understand that the cost of staying silent is far greater than the temporary discomfort of speaking out. They don't wait for someone else to take a stand. They become the ones who do. Growth is a lifelong journey, and smart women understand that learning never stops. They know that the moment they believe they have all the answers is the moment they stop evolving. That's why they are always seeking new knowledge, new perspectives, and new ways to improve themselves. They never assume they've reached the peak of their potential because they recognize that life is about constant expansion. Smart women approach learning with curiosity rather than ego. They are not afraid to admit what they don't know because they understand that growth comes from asking questions, not pretending to have all the answers. They actively seek wisdom, whether through books, mentors, experiences, or even failures. They see every challenge as an opportunity to learn something new. They also know that learning isn't limited to formal education. While degrees and certifications are valuable, they understand that true wisdom often comes from lived experiences. They learn from conversations, from traveling, from observing the world around them. They recognize that every interaction holds the potential for insight, and they stay open to receiving it. Failure is another powerful teacher, and smart women embrace it rather than fear it. They know that setbacks are not signs of inadequacy, they are stepping stones to success. When something doesn't go as planned, they analyze it. They ask, what can I learn from this instead of dwelling on what went wrong? This mindset allows them to bounce back faster and stronger because they understand that every failure carries a lesson that can propel them forward. Smart women also seek out mentors and role models. They don't try to figure everything out on their own when they can learn from those who have already walked the path. They surround themselves with people who challenge them, who inspire them, who push them to think differently. They understand that growth doesn't happen in isolation. It happens in community. They also embrace learning in areas beyond their immediate expertise. A smart woman in business might explore psychology to better understand human behavior. A leader in technology might study history to gain insights into societal change. They connect dots across disciplines, making them more adaptable, innovative, and well-rounded. Perhaps most importantly, they remain students of themselves. They practice self-reflection, always looking for ways to improve, to unlearn limiting beliefs, to develop new skills. They understand that personal growth is just as important as professional success, self-awareness, and mental resilience, because they know that these qualities are the foundation of true leadership. At the core of it all, smart women know that learning is not a destination, it's a mindset. They never assume they have arrived. Instead, they stay open, curious, and eager to evolve. And because of this, they continue to rise, breaking barriers, defying expectations, and shaping the world in ways that only those committed to lifelong learning can.